Alright, I saw this the other day. I'm sure most of you have. A lot of talk going around about this issue with Israel. I thought I would cover it a little bit. Alright, here is the first article. Israel commandos storm aid and killed 10. Israeli commandos stormed a flotilla of ships carrying aid and hundreds of pro-Palestinian activists to a blockade Gaza Strip on Monday, killing at least 10 passengers in a pre-dawn raid that set off a worldwide condemnation and a diplomatic crisis. Israel said its commandos were attacked by knives, clubs, and live fire from 2 pistols wrestled from soldiers after they rappelled from a helicopter to board one of the vessels. Reaction was swift and harsh, with a massive protest by Israel's longtime Muslim ally, which unofficially supported the mission. In an earlier statement, the Turkey foreign minister had called the Israel action unacceptable. Activists said Israeli commandos stormed the ship after ordering them to stop in international waters about 800 miles from the Gaza coast. The White House said in a written statement that the United States deeply regrets the loss of life and injuries and was working to understand the circumstances surrounding this tragedy. The activists were headed to Gaza on a mission meant to draw attention to the blockade, which Israel and Egypt imposed after the militant HAMAS group seized a territory of 1.5 million Palestinians. The ships had around 700 people on board and were carrying 10,000 tons of medical supplies, housing material, and other aid to Gaza. Turkey had urged Israel to allow them safe passage. Alright, I want to stop there for a quick second and refer you guys to one of the laws that was passed in 1994. An international law for armed conflict at sea. Okay, so here's a picture of the document, and here's an article someone else has already done. Yes, international law allowed Israel to board Hamas. Here's a quote from the law. Merchant vessels flying the flag of neutral states may not be attacked unless they are believed on reasonable grounds to be carrying contraband or breaching a blockade. After prior warning, they intentionally and clearly refuse to stop or intentionally and clearly resist, visit, search, or capture. So with that being said, they had complete grounds to check these ships. They were not trying to take the support to Gaza. They were simply trying to check it for contraband, according to international law. Alright, with that being said, let's get back to the article. There were conflicting accounts of what happened early Monday, with activists claiming that Israel fired first and Israel insisting its forces fired in defense. Communication to the ships were cut off shortly after the raid began. An Israeli commando who spoke to reporters on the vessel of the coast and who was identified only by the letter of his name, A, said he and his commandos were surprised by a group of Arabic-speaking men when they rappelled onto the deck. He said some of the soldiers taken off guard were stripped of their helmets and equipment and thrown from the top deck to the lower deck, and that some had even jumped overboard to save themselves. At one point, one of the passengers seized one of the soldiers' weapons and opened fire. One Marine told reporters his squad went in with an anti-riot paintball guns, but fearing for their lives, resorted to using normal pistols or leapt overboard. Navy video showed a commando firing a paintball at a man who seemed to be clubbing an Israeli. A high-ranking official displayed a box confiscated from the boat containing switchblades, slingshots, metal balls, and metal bats. Quote, "We prepared the soldiers to deal with peace activists, not to fight," he said. Most of the dead were Turkish, he added. The European Union deplored what is called excessive use of force and demanded an investigation by Israel. The EU said the blockade of Gaza is now in its 4th year and is politically unacceptable and called for an immediate, sustained opening of crossings into Hamas-controlled territory, according to the statement by the EU foreign policy. This action, totally contrary to the principles of international law, is inhumane state terrorism, a man told the reporter from Chile in comments aired on the Turkish news channel. I'd like to address those who supported this operation. You support bloodshed, and we support peace, humanity, and law. Okay. A 19-year-old student among the demonstrators said Israel had sought to provoke war in the region. Really now? That reminds me of an article that we read a couple of weeks ago. Here's a clip of it. Are provoking to seek a summer war. How convenient, huh? Interesting. War should be our response, he said. Our reaction has to be tougher than what the Israelis did to these innocent people. They want humanity and law and peace, but yet they want to have war as a consequence to what just happened. These savages are killing people here. Please help us, a Turkish reporter said. Okay, well, with all of that being said, why don't we just take a look at the footage and we can decide for ourselves, alright? Here is a clip from the actual raid that transpired.
איפה הכלים שלנו? אתה רואה אותם? הם הולכים שם מכות. תיזהר מהסוחרת מאחוריך, אתה רואה מיון. 101. תהיו ערניים אחורה כל הזמן, ערנות מלאה פה. וואי, זרקו שם לוחם. העיפו אותו. איפה?
קינמון, זעיר 4, נכנסים מהגרשוני להורדה.
וואי, הם מחלים אותם במכות.
קינמון קיבל.
את הלוחמים על הגג.
I want to know if anybody can look at this video and tell me that Israel came in and swept down from the helicopters and took out innocent bystanders. Because if you watch this video, we can clearly see that the second they repelled from the helicopter, just as they said in the article, they were immediately attacked, because you see people throwing things at them, you can see them hitting them on the head with bats, and throwing them over the boat even. It's obvious that Israel's not the instigator of this. They came with paintball guns and pistols that were only there for emergency purposes. I don't know about you, but if I was in the military and I was being repelled from a helicopter, and the second I landed, someone started pelting things at me and hitting me with metal bats, I think I'd be pretty instigated to defend myself. Nevertheless, if I saw them get one of my friend's weapons and begin to open fire, I think I would be pretty trapped in a corner and forced to take aggressive action to defend myself. And as I said earlier, legally, they had the authority to search the ship. The ship would not let them search, so naturally they had to do that. This seems to me like a completely provoked incident. They want to have a war this summer.
على الرغم من التهديدات الإسرائيلية وظهور بعض العقبات غير المتوقعة، إلا أن وصول السفن إلى نقطة الالتقاء استعدادا للإبحار نحو غزة ألهب مشاعر وحماسة المشاركين. فوسط الأناشيد التي تذكر بالانتفاضة الفلسطينية، كان المشاركون يعبرون عن شوقهم للوصول إلى غزة.
الآن نحن إما إحدى الحسنيين، إما الشهادة وإما الوصول إلى غزة.
Gaza situation unsustainable, Clinton says, as ship approaches. Pro-Palestinian activists are sending another ship to try to breach the Israel's blockade of the Gaza Strip, setting up another possible confrontation with the Israeli Navy. Hillary Clinton called the situation in Gaza unsustainable and unacceptable. You know, for wanting peace, humanity, and law, there's definitely a lot of provoking things going on, isn't there?